Your legs are not failing because your birthday candles keep adding up. Your legs are failing because no one ever taught you how to protect them from the inside. And those are two completely different problems. One is a diagnosis you accept. The other is a mistake you can fix. I'm Dr. Marcus Ellington, and today I'm going to show you how to fix it. 6 specific foods, counted down from helpful to extraordinary, that can support leg strength, help rebuild muscle you thought was gone, and give you back steadier, more confident movement. Here's the promise I want you to hold on to for the next 20 minutes. The food at number 1 is common, inexpensive, and something an entire generation of doctors told you to eat less of. Researchers now believe it may be one of the most protective foods for aging muscle we know of. I'm saving it for last, because once you understand what it does inside your body, you'll never look at your kitchen the same way. Here's why this actually matters. Research on aging adults has consistently found something sobering. Significant loss of lower body muscle, what's called sarcopenia, roughly doubles the risk of a fall serious enough to land you in the hospital, and sharply raises the risk of losing your ability to live independently. That's not a small difference. That's the gap between walking to your mailbox and needing someone to wheel you there. Before we go further, I want to say one honest thing, because I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't. If your leg weakness has come on suddenly, or it's gotten noticeably worse over just a few weeks, or it's one-sided, or it comes with numbness, that's not a nutrition problem to solve on your own. That's worth an actual visit to your doctor first, to rule out something specific. Everything in this video is about the slow, general muscle loss that comes with age. It's not a substitute for a workup when something changes fast. Please hold both of those at once. Now, drop a comment before we start. Tell me your age and what your legs have been doing lately. Maybe the stairs feel steeper. Maybe you've caught yourself reaching for the wall. Maybe getting up from your chair takes 2 tries instead of 1. I read the comments on this channel, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to see today. Let's begin. 6 to 1. Good to extraordinary. This is the one nearly every patient I see has been getting wrong for decades. You've heard the warnings your whole life. Cholesterol will spike. Put down the egg. That advice has been walked back significantly by current nutrition research, and I think it's done real damage to aging adults in the meantime. Eggs carry one of the highest concentrations of leucine found in any whole food. Think of leucine as the ignition switch for muscle repair. It's the signal that tells your body to start rebuilding muscle fibers. After 60, muscle develops something researchers call anabolic resistance. It gets stubborn and needs a louder signal than it used to. Leucine is that louder signal, and a couple of whole eggs deliver a meaningful dose of it. The yolk matters here too. It's where you'll find choline and vitamin D, both of which play a role in how muscle tissue maintains and repairs itself over time. Throwing out the yolk and eating whites only removes a lot of what made the egg worth eating in the first place. I've had patients who avoided yolks for a decade purely out of old advice, and who noticed a real difference within weeks of simply adding 2 or 3 whole eggs back into their mornings. It's not magic. It's just finally giving aging muscle a raw material it had been missing. 2 to 3 whole eggs in the morning, cooked gently over low heat, paired with olive oil or avocado to help absorb the fat-soluble vitamins in the yolk. This one's quietly become one of the most respected foods in geriatric nutrition. The active compounds are EPA and DHA, omega-3 fatty acids that function like your body's internal firefighting system. After about 55, the body tends to produce more low-grade inflammatory compounds, and over years that slow-burning inflammation can wear on muscle tissue, connective tissue, and the nerve pathways that tell your legs when to move. Omega-3s help cut off some of that fuel supply. Research on omega-3 supplementation in older adults has shown measurable improvements in muscle protein synthesis and, in some studies, in lower body strength. Sardines carry a second advantage that's easy to overlook. A single can delivers a meaningful dose of vitamin D3, which your skin produces less of as you age. And because they're eaten whole, bones included, they're also a genuinely good source of absorbable calcium. 2 to 3 servings a week, wild-caught, packed in olive oil, bones included. I get asked constantly whether a fish oil supplement can just replace this. Sometimes, if you genuinely can't get sardines or another fatty fish into your week, but whole sardines bring the vitamin D and the calcium along with the omega-3s, and a pill on its own doesn't. If you can get the real fish, get the real fish. The supplement is a backup plan, not the first choice. When people think about building leg strength, they think protein. They're right to. But protein without the right mineral support is like hiring a construction crew and forgetting to deliver the bricks. Sweet potatoes deliver the bricks. One medium-baked sweet potato is a genuinely rich source of potassium, a mineral that's essential for every muscle contraction in your body, every time your quadricep fires. Potassium ions are flowing across the muscle cell membrane to make that happen. Potassium tends to run low in adults over 60, and when it does, legs don't just feel heavy, they physically can't generate the same force. Sweet potatoes are also one of the richest dietary sources of beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A, an antioxidant that appears to help protect aging muscle tissue from the slow oxidative wear that builds up over decades. Think of it like a rust inhibitor. It doesn't make the machine bigger, it helps keep the machine running cleaner, longer. Bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 to 50 minutes rather than boiling. Boiling leaches potassium straight into the water. Eat with a small amount of fat to help absorb the beta-carotene. I'll add one more thing about this one because it surprises people. Sweet potato is one of the cheapest items on this entire list, often less than $1 each, and yet it's one of the most overlooked. It's easy to assume the more expensive or exotic-sounding food on a list like this must matter more. Sometimes the plainest, cheapest item is doing more of the actual work. Right here, between 4 and 3, I want to ask you something. If anything so far has taught you something you didn't already know, hit the like button right now. It costs you nothing, but it tells the algorithm to put this in front of more people over 60 who need it and don't have it yet. And if you haven't subscribed, now's the moment. Every week I bring practical, evidence-grounded health content for adults who aren't ready to give up their independence without a fight. Full-fat Greek yogurt is one of the most underrated tools available to anyone over 60, and almost nobody's using it quite right. A single cup delivers a solid dose of high-quality protein, including all 3 branch-chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, in a form your body absorbs efficiently. But the more interesting reason it belongs this high on the list has less to do with protein and more to do with something researchers are still actively mapping out, what some call the gut-muscle axis. Early research suggests gut bacteria diversity in older adults is connected to lean muscle mass and grip strength, though this is an evolving area, not a settled one. Probiotic-rich foods like yogurt appear to support that diversity. Think of it like replanting a garden that's gotten overtaken by weeds. Eat it within 30 to 45 minutes of any physical activity, even a short walk. Add ground flax for extra omega-3s. Choose plain, full fat over low fat. The sugar added to compensate for removed fat tends to work against the exact inflammation you're trying to calm. Quick aside, because I get a version of this question constantly. People assume fat-free is always the healthier choice. For aging muscle specifically, that's often backwards. Several of the nutrients on this list, the vitamin D, the beta-carotene, the fat-soluble vitamins in eggs, need some dietary fat around them to actually get absorbed. Fat-free isn't a virtue here. It can just mean you're eating the food and missing most of what it was supposed to give you. I told you at the start one of these would catch you off guard. This is it. Beets don't look like a muscle food, I understand the skepticism. But the research on beets and physical performance in older adults has become compelling enough that sports science programs now use beet-derived compounds in recovery protocols, including for aging athletes. This isn't folk medicine, it's genuine exercise science that's since been applied to the aging body. The mechanism is dietary nitrates. Beets contain them in far higher concentration than almost any leafy green. When those nitrates reach working muscle, they convert into nitric oxide, which opens blood vessels and helps flood the legs with oxygen and nutrients more efficiently than aging vasculature manages on its own. There's a growing body of research, including work on older adults with reduced blood flow to the legs, showing beet-derived nitrates can meaningfully improve walking tolerance and exercise performance. Roast at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 to 60 minutes, or blend raw beets into a smoothie with citrus. The vitamin C appears to help nitrate conversion. Avoid boiling for long periods. The nitrates leach into the water. The food I mentioned at the very start. The food that was demonized, restricted, and quietly stripped out of a lot of senior diets, based on advice that's since been substantially revised. Extra virgin olive oil contains oleocanthal, a natural compound that operates in the body in a way that's genuinely similar to ibuprofen. It inhibits some of the same inflammatory pathways that anti-inflammatory medications target, without the same risks to the kidneys or the stomach lining that come with years of regular NSAID use. That's not a stretch. It's a real, published finding in the food chemistry literature. The muscle-specific case goes further. Research following older adults over multiple years has found that those who consumed extra virgin olive oil regularly tended to show meaningfully lower rates of sarcopenia than those who rarely used it. The proposed mechanism involves polyphenols in the oil, supporting the same cellular signaling pathway, called mTOR, that leucine and resistance exercise activate. As muscle becomes more resistant with age, some research suggests these polyphenols may help keep that pathway responsive. There's also hydroxytyrosol, another compound in the oil, which appears to help protect the mitochondria inside muscle cells, the structures that generate the energy those cells run on, from the oxidative wear that accumulates over decades. I've had patients who'd avoided fat of any kind for 25 years, purely out of old dietary advice, add several tablespoons of good olive oil back into their daily meals, and notice a real, sustained difference in how far they could walk without stopping over the following weeks. Again, not magic, just finally giving the body back something it had been systematically denied. Aim for 3 to 4 tablespoons daily as your primary cooking fat for low to medium heat, or drizzled over eggs, vegetables, fish, and beans. Buy it in dark glass bottles and look for a harvest date rather than just an expiration date. Polyphenol content degrades with light and time. Fresh olive oil behaves very differently in the body than old, bargain shelf oil that's been sitting under fluorescent light for a year. And I'll say this plainly because it matters for a list like this one. Good olive oil is not expensive compared to what people spend on supplements chasing the same effect. A decent bottle lasts weeks. You don't need the fanciest label in the store, you need one with a harvest date on it and a dark bottle keeping the light off it. That's the whole shopping list. These 6 foods aren't meant to work in isolation. Eggs, sardines, sweet potatoes, Greek yogurt, beets, and good olive oil pair together. Several of them literally help each other absorb better, and used consistently, the combined effect on inflammation, blood flow, and muscle signaling tends to add up to more than any single food manages on its own. You weren't built to become a spectator in your own life, to watch from the window while your grandchildren play in the yard, or skip the walk, or rearrange your life around the fear that your legs might fail you. That fear isn't a life sentence. It's a signal that something's been missing. Today we named 6 of them. Muscle tissue keeps its capacity to rebuild well into old age. Your body is still willing, it's just been waiting for the materials. If you haven't subscribed, do it now. Every week I bring practical, evidence-grounded health content for adults who believe their strongest years are still ahead of them. And leave a comment. Tell me which of these 6 you're adding first, and tell me your story, because that's genuinely what this channel is for. I read every one. And one more time, because it matters more than anything else in this video. If something about your legs has changed suddenly, get that checked by a doctor first. Everything here is what you can control in between those visits, not instead of them. Until next time, eat well, move daily, and don't stop believing your strongest days might still be ahead of you.